Is the Pursuit actually Otterbox's thinnest, toughest, most protective case? Well, 2 out of those 3 things is going to be true. I'm not going to tell you which one isn't. I think they kind of forgot that they do have a case called the Otterbox Defender, which is pretty tough as well. The Otterbox Pursuit will offer your iPhone better protection than the average tough case, and it does feel slimmer than the average tough case. Otterbox has done a great job ensuring dust and debris doesn't touch most of your iPhone. My only gripe with the Pursuit is the fact that it doesn't come with a screen protector. It's marketed as a case that's going to protect you from lots of stuff, but it's going to cost you $80, and it leaves the most vulnerable part of the iPhone exposed. So if you're planning on getting this case, well, get a screen protector. Also, tough cases are usually synonymous with belt holsters, and the Pursuit doesn't come with one. Again, $80. For my Otterbox Pursuit review, I've given this case a score of 4.18 out of 5, which means it is an above average iPhone case. It feels tougher than the average case, but just be careful how many times you drop it consecutively. If you're looking for a comparable tough case, check out the Tech 21 Evo Tactical Extreme as well as the Griffin Summit. Links are in the eye or the description section below.
Real usage, real reviews. Mobile Reviews A.ca.
At mobilereviews.a.ca, Mr. Monty, Fancy Dog Monty, and I base everything we do on actual usage. So when we see a case that, ultimate drop protection, has dust, mud, dirt, snow protection, well, we're going to kick it around in dust and dirt to see how well the screens at the bottom of the case protect the iPhone. To see how well the edges hold up, we'll concoct some sort of mud concoction to see if the sides get muddy. And for the snow, well, since it's summer in Calgary, we grated an ice cube over the Pursuit. It did nothing. When it comes to design, the Pursuit is theoretically a larger than average iPhone case. I say theoretically because only the edges of the case are bulky. The center of the case is actually quite thin, so you won't notice this on a day-to-day basis, which is why Otterbox is claiming that it's a thin protective case. The Pursuit does fit well together, but it might show a bit of wear and tear after a bunch of serious drops on the sidewalk. Installing the case is simple. All you have to do is place the iPhone into the front of the case and snap everything together. Taking the case apart requires you to use a coin to pop the case open. The back side of the case is slick, so it will slide off the top of your car if you forget it on top of your car. The TPU and rubber edges of the case do not show more wear and tear than the average case, and despite having a slip back, the edges and corners of the Pursuit provide a decent amount of texture, so it's not going to slide out of your hand like a wet bar soap. When it comes to the category protection, we look at the environmental protection, we look at the drop protection, we look at the screen protection, as well as if it includes a screen protector. With the Otterbox Pursuit, it claims to have ultimate drop protection, but Otterbox doesn't rate their products to a mil standard, a 10G, like everybody else does. They have their own Otterbox certified drop plus protection. So I have no idea how high I'm allowed to drop this iPhone in this case. In a way, it's very, very fluffy, but I've done enough bad things to iPhones in Otterbox cases to know that they are generally tougher than average cases. Most cases are going to be mil standard A10G drop protected to 4 feet. Well, I'm very comfortable dropping this from 5 to 6 feet. But with that being said, the 6 times I dropped it from 5 to 6 feet, the Pursuit came apart twice. And they only came apart when I dropped it from the camera edge of the iPhone, so the top of the iPhone. Now, the iPhone still works, as you can see in the video. The aluminum body is scuffed up a little bit, which isn't great, but again, the device still works, so the optimist would say it did protect the iPhone from a drop. But here's the thing, this would have never happened with the Otterbox Defender. Why? Because the Defender has a TPU sleeve that wraps around the entire frame of the case. Your iPhone's probably going to bend in the Defender before it comes apart. And well, how do I know this? Well, I've done my fair share of throwing iPhones 40 feet into the air, and the Defender was one of those cases on those iPhones, and that iPhone was fine. Now, how about claims of protecting against the elements? Well, I am generally quite pleased with the environmental protection the Pursuit offers. Nothing I did with the mud, dirt, dust, and snow coating showed me any reason to be concerned. The camera cutter has a piece of foam that keeps dust and debris out. This foam also outlines the edges of the front panel of the case. The mute switch also has a small seal, and there's a plug for the lightning port. So again, everything on the iPhone is pretty buttoned up. The edges of the case have enough clearance for a thicker than average screen protector. On this iPhone in the video, I am using an Evolutive Labs impact shield, and there's enough space for the edges to keep the screen off a flat surface. But again, for $80, well, it's $80. I was expecting something more. So is this Otterbox's toughest case? I'm going to say no, because I know an iPhone in a Defender can take a lot more than an iPhone in an Otterbox Pursuit. From a drop protection standpoint, from an environmental standpoint, that piece of foam that I showed you around the camera cutout on the close-ups, well, the Otterbox Defender doesn't have that on the front, so dust and debris usually get in between the screen protector and the screen, and that's pretty awful. because it scratches it up over time, and you're not going to have that issue with this case. When it comes to accessing your iPhone, the only gripe that I have was that the buttons were stiffer than the average case. The mute switch isn't too bad to use, but it doesn't have that same simple action as the Tech 21 Evo Tactical Extreme. I had no issues accessing the screen or the camera, and the lightning port was big enough to handle my biggest headed lightning cable with ease. The last thing I will note is that Otterbox does include a lanyard loop, which helps alleviate some of the issues I have with the drop protection of the case. So when would I get an Otterbox Pursuit? Well, I would get it if I spent a lot of time outdoors and not a lot of time outdoors near water. For 80 bucks, you might as well, if you're spending a lot of time near water, you might as well just get a full-blown LifeProof free or a Catalyst waterproof case at 80 bucks. You pay a few bucks more, you get complete water protection. The drop protection is generally going to be the same, but the environmental protection is going to be much higher, we'll say. If this video was useful to you, considering getting your cases through my links, Otterbox did send me this case to review, so I'm very grateful for that, but they did not compensate me for the iPhone that I mildly damaged, as well as all the time that I spent doing this video. So I get a small commission for everything that gets bought through my links, which helps me do more videos in the future. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down there below. First time watching my videos, subscribe. That's all we got.